Hello and welcome from atop FOMO Mountain, where we'll dive deep into the art of navigating the markets with unwavering confidence. In today's fast-paced trading environment, the fear of missing out, FOMO, can often lead to hasty decisions and missed opportunities. But what if you could turn that fear into a strategic advantage? In this live session, we'll explore essential strategies to help you identify, seize opportunities without falling victim to common pitfalls of market psychology, from understanding market trends to developing a solid trading plan. We'll cover the key elements that every trader needs to navigate volatile markets successfully. Here it is. FOMO Mountain. Whether you're a seasoned trader or just starting your journey, this live stream is designed to provide you with insights and tools needed to trade with confidence. We'll share real-time analysis, answer your burning questions, and offer advice to help you climb FOMO Mountain and reach the pinnacle of success. Now, how do you ask all these questions? Just type them into the chat. We are broadcasting everywhere, from YouTube to Rumble, over to Instagram, Twitter, or I should say X, and everywhere else. So type into the chat, let me know that you're alive, and let's get the show on the road. FOMO in trading. As you attempt to climb, where is FOMO telling you to buy? Where do you guys experience the most FOMO? Are you experiencing it inside the base? Like if we're looking at this as a mountain here, are you experiencing FOMO right there as prices consolidating in this little area? Is it out of the base? Are you starting to feel FOMO up here? Are you starting to feel FOMO as you're getting extended and you're already at the top? Anybody feel some FOMO with Bitcoin lately? How about on the inevitable pullbacks? Where are you feeling FOMO the most? Getting some questions in already. How do you deal with FOMO? Yeah, of course. That's what this whole show is going to be about. So strap in and you'll see. First thing with dealing with FOMO is to identify when it is that you tend to feel it. That's why we're starting out with this question. Do you just feel it all the time? Is it at particular points in the trade? When are you most experiencing FOMO? Jot it down. If you're feeling brave, type it into the chat. Let us know. I used to feel FOMO at almost every point of the trade. There's one thing you must remember if you're to overcome this FOMO mountain, and it's this. The market is an infinite stream of opportunity. You missed one wave, right? There's always more waves coming. No matter what stage of the trade you're in, there's always going to be more and more opportunities coming. You missed one trade, there's always another one right behind it. You missed Bitcoin today, there's going to be Ethereum tomorrow. There's going to be Ethereum Classic tomorrow. There's going to be Dogecoin tomorrow. You missed Nvidia, here comes AMD. There's always going to be more trades. So what's there to fear, right? If you went to the beach, would you be upset that you missed the wave? Or would you just get back out there and wait for the next wave, right? It's the same thing with the market. This whole idea that we missed the boat, that we missed the opportunity, that's an illusion. And that's an illusion that's going to cause you to drown. I don't want to see that happen to you. That's happened to me way too many times and way too many lessons learned the hard way. I've been trading for 25 years, and it took me probably about the first 10 years until that part, even beyond that, where that part started to sink in, that there's always going to be other waves of opportunity. Now, the only thing we must do to catch any of these opportunities is to develop trading plans and execute those trading plans well. So, what do you put into a trading plan? Right? Type into the chat. Let me know what sort of things you guys put into your trading plans. Here is the bare minimum that everyone needs. You have to know when to enter. Right? If you don't know when to enter, then you're just entering randomly. Right? You need to have a plan of when you're going to enter. You need to know where you're going to exit. Where are you going to cut a loss if price moves against you? It's very important to have that figured out beforehand. Whether you're using a stop loss or you're not using a stop loss, whether you're one of these people that think, I'm going to use a mental stop, or if you're putting a hard stop in, you have to figure out where you're planning to cut the loss short beforehand. The reason why is because once you're in the trade, and if you haven't figured that part out yet, it's very easy to convince yourselves that, you know what, just one more tick, I'll get out at the next one. Oh, if it just undercuts this. But I've been there before too. You have to know where you're going to exit before you even enter the trade. And here's another thing too. It's also very helpful to know where you're going to get out on the upside, right? At least have an idea. If this thing makes me twice what I've risked, then I'll take something off the table. If it's made me 3 times what I've risked, 5 times what I've risked, I'll take something off the table. Having that plan beforehand, super, super helpful. Again, somebody is talking about position sizing. Ready? That was going to be my next point. You're reading my mind. Position sizing is another very important part of coming up with a trading plan. How much are you going to put in? Are you going to put in all your capital? Are you going to put in some of your capital? How much of your capital, the total amount in your account, how much of it are you putting into this one trade? And then what happens if that trade goes against you? That's why knowing how much you're going to risk and getting into the habit of thinking risk first is going to help you so much. That's where it's really going to open up this door to infinite opportunities. The reason why is because no one trade could completely knock you out of the game. Right. Well, we want to avoid that. We want to be able to be in the game for as long as possible. That's how you let this magical thing called compounding happen. Because if you go all in on a trade, sure, that might be the trade that goes to the moon. But you miss out on the opportunity to compound if you go all in and then all of a sudden that trade doesn't work out and you blow up your account. Even if you go in with half your accounts or whatever amount that could potentially blow you up or make it very difficult to come back, you don't want that to happen. You want to trade the amount where you could keep on going back to the well again and again and again and again and again. That way, over several hundred, several thousand trades, you're able to compound, and that's how your capital really grows. Going to take a lot of questions at the end. So keep on putting the questions in. I see lots of questions coming in. I see lots of comments coming in. People over here on YouTube, people over here on X, Rumble, Instagram up here. Keep typing in your comments, your questions. Let me know where you're at, and we'll answer everything towards the end. All right, now strategies. Strategies for high reward trades. Number one, this is how I do it. Number one, buy stocks in leading groups or improving industry groups. We've got a chart up right here. Can you guys see what that's a chart of? Maybe some of you guys are also in this trade. This happens to be AMD. This is one that I bought about, well, when did I get into this? I'm going to pull up the live chart over here, but I've been in this for about 2 weeks now. And I got in just as price was breaking out. I'm pointing at the screen over here like you could see my finger, but I got in right around here when price was breaking out. Walk you through exactly how I did that in a moment. But number two, buy stocks that are consolidating and near highs and showing net accumulation. you need to understand that stocks that are in uptrends don't go up forever, right? Whether it's a stock, whether it's a ETF, whether it's a crypto, nothing goes straight up in a line. When things move up with momentum, they'll eventually start to taper off, move sideways, and then they get ready for the next leg higher. It's when they get ready for that next leg higher that we want to be there, ready to buy and take advantage of that lower risk, high reward opportunity like this one. And that's precisely what AMD was doing right here. And again, I'll zoom in on the chart in a minute. There's something else on here too. Buy stocks with strong relative strength lines. What the heck is a relative strength line? It's how the stock is behaving relative to the S&P 500, the broader index. You want to buy stocks that are leading the index, right? If you're buying stocks that are outperforming the market, then you could outperform the market, right? That just makes a lot of sense. Next up, buy stocks that are close to the danger zone. What's the danger zone? The danger zone is the point where if price did start to move up and then fail, that you would quickly know that the trade was wrong. You don't want to buy at a point where it's going to take you a long time to figure out that, oops, this trade was wrong. Now, here is where AMD was as of yesterday. And here are some of my notes on AMD and where I bought. I actually bought AMD right here. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, why would I buy AMD right there? Why wouldn't I buy AMD when it was making a new high? Why didn't I be a sniper and buy it down here? Or why not buy like way down here, right? Well, as far as this one trade is concerned, what I saw forming here was a consolidation called a flat base. Now, what's a flat base? A flat base is just when price is moving sideways for at least 5 weeks or more, and it consolidates, right? It moves sideways less than 15%. Getting a little technical here. That is a flat base. I didn't come up with this stuff. This is what William O'Neill, one of the market legends, came up with. It's something that he observed over time. He didn't just say, you know what, let's draw a box around this and hope for the best. It's something that after studying thousands and thousands of charts historically, going back to the 1800s, he saw this pattern repeating over and over and over again. And there were certain other criteria along with it too, not just the length of it and the depth of it, but also how price and volume were behaving, right? If you notice over here, there's a whole bunch of volume, right? Though you see those big volume bars as price is moving higher. That's demand. That's demand pushing the stock higher. You're not going to see heavy duty demand like that all the time, but when you're seeing it, when price is in an uptrend, that's telling you that it's not just, the guy down the street that's buying. That's telling you that it's somebody with deep pockets and probably a whole bunch of somebodies with deep pockets. Your major institutions, pension funds, hedge funds of the world that are doing that kind of buying. So we want to pay attention to that. That's why when price starts to move sideways like this, right? Price starts to move sideways and then you start to see volume taper off, then that's telling you, hey, you know what? There's not a rush of supply. People aren't trying to unload this. So that way, when price does tighten up like it did right there, we could be ready to buy again. And that's precisely what I did. I had my order to buy right there. Price broke out. And within a few days, I'm up about 20% on this thing. Now, we want to talk about protecting your portfolio. There's a few ways to protect your portfolio. The first thing that you want to be doing is approaching trades risk first. You always want to approach trades risk first, just like we said in the beginning and how I was talking about the danger zone before. You see how price was just drifting very gently down over here, right? Like back here, Do you notice how the price bars are kind of all over the place? And then later on over here, they start to tighten up. They tightened up, but they also tightened up in a very particular way. Now, this is something that jumped out at me. I don't know if this jumps out at you yet, but if you see this little nuance on the chart, just type into the chat. Let me know whatever sort of nuances you guys happen to see on the chart. But what I saw over here as price was starting to pull back like this, a couple of things. Number one, volume drying up along with that pullback. That's a very good thing. You might also see this as something, yeah, I see somebody saying it over here, that it looks like a handle. That's correct. When price starts to drift sideways down and gingerly like this and volume dries up, that's part of the definition of a handle. It's a good thing to see, and it's one of those things where price is starting to coil up and get ready to break out. But also up here, you see that purple line right there? On my chart, that's the 21-day exponential moving average. Now, something that I know from studying my own history, from studying O'Neill's work, from studying this other guy, John Boyk, he did this book called Monster Stocks, and he did a number of other books too. One of the things that he noticed was that when price pulls back to the 21-day moving average, it tends to get supported in the biggest stocks, right? The ones that have the most oomph, the most mojo, those ones tend to hold that moving average, the 21-day exponential moving average. AMD did that here. So that was something else. You might also see that blue line. That's called an anchored VWAP, anchored volume weighted average price. Now, where did I put that from? I put it from earnings. And from earnings, it was telling me that when price comes to this level, buyers tend to step in. So another thing that was telling me that this is a very good spot to be that danger zone. So I was buying close to the danger zone. This was a nice tight area. It was about 4.5%. That's what I like to see. I like to see nice tight risk. And then if price goes, right, this went 20%, I made 5 times my risk in a few days. That's what we want. We want to be able to compound very quickly. We want to be able to risk this much in the hopes of making this much. And it's not where we're going to make this much every time. Sometimes we might make this much. Sometimes we might lose. But if we're risking this much, you could lose a bunch of times and still be okay and still be able to compound out more like this, because one win like this pays for all those losers, and it also gives you enough money to put in your pocket and back into your account. Know where you're getting in before you know where you're getting out before you get in. We spoke about that a lot. And never risk blowing up your account. On this trade, I went in with about, I think, 7-8% of my account. I only risked about 4.5% on the position. That ended up being about maybe 1/4% of capital, right? So you risk this tiny little bit to make that much more. What was the last point over here? Oh yeah. You also want to know. You never want to risk blowing up your account, and you want to know where you're getting out before you get in. So I knew that I wanted to get in close to the danger point, but you notice over here, I'm also have points where I'm looking to sell on the way up. I know where I want to scale out into strength before I even put the trade on. You could write out all the stuff ahead of time. And you're never going to nail the exact top. You're never going to nail the exact bottom. You might get close sometimes, but that's not the point. You don't need to nail the top or nail the bottom. You need to be able to make more money than you risk, and do that over and over and over and over again. You don't need to be right all the time. You can be right half the time. You can be right 40% of the time. And if you're doing this, you're going to come out ahead. the winning mindset. Tips for cultivating patience, discipline, and resilience. Now, meditation is a big one. We're actually doing a meditation workshop. Well, one of our members, Darren, he is a meditation coach. He's going to be giving a meditation workshop for all of our members on Monday, this coming Monday. So if you want to sign up for that, think of that like a bonus. Well, we will be recording it, and that'll be released to members too. Meditation is very important. Meditation is a practice that I've been cultivating for many years. I can't say enough good things about meditation and all the things that it does for you. The not just calming you down, but giving you mental clarity, being able to see thoughts, being able to see thoughts and not identify with those thoughts, to just see them as they are, and then take it not just from the meditation practice, but to bring it into the rest of your everyday life. It's great, and I hope to see you at this coming Monday's meditation workshop. Limiting beliefs exercises. I talk about that quite a bit in my book, The Trading Mind Wheel. We have the first couple of chapters all dedicated to mindset and beliefs exercises. Going through, I'll talk a little bit about it right now. Part of what you want to do when it comes to your beliefs, we have beliefs about everything. You have beliefs about being on this live stream. You have beliefs about trading. You have beliefs about money. You have beliefs about yourself. You need to write down your beliefs, particularly about trading, about money, and about yourself. Write down as many as you can. We literally have hundreds of them. If you, here's a few examples, right? So everything that we spoke about earlier with needing a plan, that's an example of a belief. Knowing where I'm going to get in, knowing the buying close to the danger zone, all that stuff are examples of some of the beliefs that I have. Now, once you start to write out your beliefs, you're going to want to figure out, well, which one of these beliefs are leading me closer to my goals, right? And so you're also going to want to write out your goals, and you're going to want to see, well, which ones might be hindering me from getting to my goals. The more awareness that you're able to bring to your beliefs and your belief systems, the better off you're going to be. Then you'll be able to start to work through this kind of stuff. Working through it by yourself is step one. That's what I did. What I recommend doing is not to just work through it by yourself, but to get somebody that you trust that you could work through some of the stuff with. That's a big part of the reason why I put together the programs that we have here at Mara Wealth. So that way you don't have to work through it by yourself. You have me, you have the rest of our community that you're able to work through this stuff with. But at the very least, you should be grabbing pen, paper, and jotting out your beliefs so that way you could start to work through this stuff. And finally, plan when the market is closed. That's going to help you a lot. Do your planning when the market is closed, not when the bullets are flying, right? Well, pre-market, post-market, when the market is closed, do the bulk of your planning then. And then when the market is open, focus on execution. I can't tell you how many times I see people trying to do both at the same time, right? Like, oh, I see this trade moving. Oh, well, what kind of plan do I need? Okay, so I'm going to enter here. I'm going to exit there. All right, I'm going to risk this much. Oh, crap, price moved again. All right, let me recalculate how much I'm going to. No, don't bother with any of that. Do your planning after the market is closed or before the market is open, and you'll end up being a lot calmer for it. I do 99.999% of my planning that way. I mentioned the Trading Mind Rule earlier. This book really is your solution. I wrote so much of the things that have helped me through the years in this book, and you really need to read this. It'll help you with having enhanced self-awareness. All those beliefs exercises are in the Trading Mind Wheel. It'll teach you about strategic thinking. It'll teach you about emotional resilience. There's meditation, exercises, and strategies inside the trading mind wheel as well. In addition to risk management, in addition to all the different exercises, analysis, how to journal well, how to do back testing, all that stuff is in the trading mind wheel and it's written as a story. Get the trading mind wheel. And finally, for those of you that are ready to work with me and to be a part of a community, we have Mara Elite Premium. You could get that right here, marawealth.com. This little button would move out of the way. marawealth.com/premium. Go check that out. It's your opportunity to work directly with me every single day and to be a part of our community and to get coached by the other coaches inside the Mara Elite program too. All right. With all that said, let's get to the questions here. I see a lot of stuff came in, a lot of great questions here. Kip asked, am I streaming on X as well? I believe I am. I set up this StreamYard here to broadcast to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, X, Instagram, and Rumble. So it should be on all those different platforms. Jim says, "Good stuff, preach it, brother. Awesome, thank you, Jim. Jim is one of our VIP members." Kip says, "I always feel like I'm in church when tuning in." Yeah, that God is a huge part of my life. It's been that way for a very long time. I actually went to Catholic seminary high school, right? Not that I was planning on being a priest early on. It just happened to be a very good school. My parents sent me there, and if you wanted to become a priest, they gave you the path. And well, only one student for my class ended up joining the priesthood, but God is very important. And every time that I've prayed and attempted to get closer to God, my life has improved. And every time that I've lost sight of God, right? It's not where I've always been very prayerful. There were years and years and years where I turned away from God, or at least wasn't prayerful, wouldn't go to church. Well, wouldn't like God was an afterthought. And those were the times in my life when I've struggled the most. Prayer, faith, God, I think that all those things are very important. And if we don't put God in the center for ourselves, something else ends up taking that center role. Things like family, things like money, things like success. Well, whatever is the most important thing to you, if you end up putting that as the most important thing, that becomes God. So I think so many of us get into problems when something else other than God becomes that focal point that we end up getting led astray. So, yeah, to your point, Kip, it is, I guess in a way, it is like church. All right, well, let's see what other questions we have coming in here. Kip says, "Can we access your slides?" I haven't thought about that. If I put them out into something where you put your email in and then you could download them, would you guys be interested in that? Type into the chat, let me know, and I'll figure out how to get that done. You come over to Instagram and see what else is going on. Yeah, some ways for you to stay connected here. So we wind things down. Okay, make sure that you join our community wherever you happen to be watching. Make sure that you're following, make sure that you're subscribed. get our newsletter. We put out a free newsletter with loads of education every single week. I missed last week. The reason why I missed last week, both the live stream and for sending out the newsletter. So if you guys didn't get the newsletter last week, I apologize. That's on me. The reason why is because I've had the flu since last Thursday, and I'm finally getting over that now. And it really, oh my goodness, it really kicked my butt. I had 102 fever for about 4 days. Now the rest of the family is dealing with that. So yeah, it's been rough in the Lamont household. But we will have the newsletter out this weekend, this Sunday. So if you're not already subscribed to the free newsletter, make sure that you get that, marwealth.com/newsletter. Get the Trading Mind Wheel book. Can't say enough great things about the Trading Mind Wheel book. If you haven't read it yet, go read it. You could get it as a hard copy. You could get it as Kindle. You could get it as an audiobook. And the audiobook is fantastic too. And then, lastly, if you want to get coached by me, go to marwealth.com/premium, and we have a fantastic service there. All right. Let's see. Anything else here? I see Matt over on X. Welcome, Matt. Kip says, maybe easy to do on SlideShare and then share the link in the streams. No, that's interesting. I don't even know what SlideShare is. That shows you how behind the times I am. So let me write this down. SlideShare. All right, I'll go check that out. Anything else? What do you guys think of this mug? This is one of my favorite mugs because it has the handle on both sides. Let's see, anything else? Ayush asks about technical analysis working in intraday trading. Yes, it does. And here, why don't we bring some live charts over here. All right, so bring up trade that I took yesterday. And this is one of those trades where I like to talk about some of these trades, but in real time, like this is the kind of stuff that you need to learn. If you're going to do something like this, you need to have a full understanding of what it is that you're doing, because it's hard to walk somebody through something like this, I feel, in real time. This is Mara, not to be confused with Mara Wealth. What I saw this doing here, right now we're looking at a 30-minute chart. Let me take off my annotations. I draw all of my charts. What I saw this doing was pulling back, and getting really, really tight here yesterday. Right? Here's the daily chart. And yesterday it's closing at its lows and it's closing below the 50-day moving average. But I also am aware that this is a stock that's very influenced by how crypto performs. And your major coins, your Bitcoins and Ethereums, all trading near all-time highs. So I'm expecting this thing to bounce. I see that it's tightening up just around the 50-day moving average over here. If I put my annotations back on, it was getting support right by that anchored VWAP. You could see how important anchored VWAP could be from way back here. Last earnings came right down to that level, and it's tightening up. So I'm able to get in on the close with about 2% risk. Now that's 2% on a stock that moves about 12% on average per day. So in my mind, that's very good reward to risk. Now, we still have to deal with the overnight risk, but well, what's happening with this, and I'll turn the annotations off for a second again. This happened yesterday on Thursday, right? Following day is Friday. So we have potentially the low of the week that I'm playing against. So now we're starting to work in this other thing called multi-time frame analysis, where if I'm looking at this and I'm looking to buy right here, this isn't just the daily low that I'm playing against. It's also the weekly low, and it also has the anchored VWAP from way the heck back here. So I'm trying to buy real close to the danger zone. Now, price breaks out, and lo and behold, what happens? Price jumps almost 15% in an hour. So over here, I'm selling. I didn't sell everything, but I did sell more than half of my position. And now my stop is at break even. And we'll see what I'll do with the rest of this. If I'm gonna hold the rest over the weekend, or I might move my stop to just below here. But I've already made quite a bit on this one trade there. But for the person that asked about do technicals work intraday, they absolutely do. This is a fine example of it. Let's see. Well, what other questions do you guys have? Do you provide signals? I wouldn't call them signals. I provide everything that I do. So if I'm going to come up with a trading plan, I share my trading plans. In fact, why don't I bring that up? Let me bring up a sample of our playbook here. All right, so here's a sample of my playbook. There's a lot of tabs on this sheet here, but I will go and I will analyze the market every single day. We have tutorials and guides on what all this stuff means, but basically, U stands for uptrend, S stands for sideways, D stands for down, and I'll track which way the trend of the market is moving each day across all of these indexes. I'll track the number of distribution days, new highs and new lows, how many quality of trades I'm seeing, etc. I'll share the trades that I'm in. I'll share precisely where I'm getting in, where I'm getting out, how much I'm going to risk, what my targets are, well, what the whole plan is. And I'll update this every evening so that way members have it the next day, right? Like, so that way you could learn and follow along. And then you have our private community, our private Discord. So that way you could come in and ask me questions and get answers right away. And plus, you have everybody else that's in there that's also learning it. And the idea is to learn, right? It's not to just blindly follow what some guy on the internet happens to say about a stock. It's to be able to learn and follow and ask lots of questions, because that's how you're going to learn. That's how I learned way back when. Years and years ago, this is going back now to 2011, I found the New York City Investors Business Daily meetup. Basically, the Investors Business Daily is kind of like the Wall Street Journal, but everybody is looking at the same kind of stocks and trading it in a very similar way. And we would all get together once a month to study together. And it was a fantastic group. It was live back then. Right now, that group doesn't exist anymore. But they invited me to, after a year of going there, they invited me to become a leader of that group. So I was sharing what I was doing and how I was doing this stuff part-time, and the different routines and journaling and all that kind of stuff with the group. And when that group ended, I wanted to create something where I could share similar experiences with a much larger audience. That's what made me decide to do this. Right, well, with the premium program here. But back to this, I'm sharing stocks that I'm looking to trade, all the different lists, all my different screens, all this stuff. Universalist, closed trades, everything is here. So in a sense, I guess you could say, well, like it's not signals, it's a lot more than signals. Let's see what other questions you guys have. Just scrolling through Instagram here. Gotta say, you guys are great. I think that this is one of the best, or at least one of the largest sessions that we have. I'll let you guys decide if this was a good one or not. But I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear more of what you guys want to see and have content on. This channel is for you. I want to do my best to provide value. This other guy, Dennis Wilborn, if you're not familiar with him, go check out Dennis Wilborn. He and I just launched a brand new podcast together that's going to be called the Trading Truths Podcast. Not going to be called, it is called the Trading Truths Podcast. We multi-streamed it the other day. It's primarily hosted over on his channel, and we're debunking a lot of myths together. So look forward to that show. Anything else? Just the way that Instagram is set up, that you have to scroll forever. I think that's about it. Everybody, this was a truly fantastic live stream. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I hope you did too. And I will see you again next week. Make sure that you are subscribed to one of these things over here. Make sure that you are subscribed wherever you happen to be watching, or following wherever you happen to be watching. Make sure that you are on the Mara Wealth newsletter. We'll be sending that out this Sunday. Get the book, The Trading Mind Wheel. And if you feel like you're ready for coaching, sign up for marawealth.com/premium. And I will see you all here next week. Take care. Much love, everybody. Peace out.
Hey, thanks so much for sticking around to the end. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button down below and become a part of the Mara Wealth community. And make sure that you check out some of the other videos on the channel. They're exactly what you need to see. And leave a comment down below. I read all of them. Leave a comment.